Pope Francis reminds the faithful that peace is at the heart of religions. This afternoon, the Holy Father went to the Colosseum to pray for peace in Ukraine together with representatives of Christian churches and communities gathered in Rome for a meeting called The Cry for Peace. The event was organized by the Community of Sant'Egidio. EWTN News Rome Correspondent Colm Flynn joins us now. Colm, great to see you. So what can you tell us about what the Pope said?
A very good evening, Tracy, from the Colosseum in Rome, where this afternoon Pope Francis gave a speech in which he called again for peace in Ukraine and warned against the use of nuclear weapons. He started his speech by quoting his encyclical Fratelli Tutti when he said that every war leaves our world worse than it was before. War is a failure of politics and a failure of humanity, he said. He went on to talk about the situation here in Europe. And he said that for a continent which has seen two horrific world wars in just the past 100 years, it was heartbreaking to see bloodshed and war continuing today. A war that bitterly affects even children and the elderly, he said. The Pope continued that peace in the world today had been gravely violated. He said assaulted and trampled upon. He spoke about the use of atomic weapons, Tracy, and he said that this was something the world dreaded after what we saw happen to Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And despite the unbelievable death toll and the destruction they caused, the Pope said, quote, "Again, we hear the use of atomic weapons is being threatened outright. This is a very bleak scenario," end quote. The Pope went on to stress that God's plan in the world was a plan for peace and not for evil. He said that the voiceless must have a voice, there must be hope for the poor, and that peace must be embraced and nurtured. The Pope called on government leaders to listen seriously to the pleas for peace and called on all of us not to be indifferent during times of war. He said that we were not, quote, neutral, but we were allies of peace.
And Colm, if you don't mind, tell us about some who were present today for the Pope's speech.
Well, Tracy, this event has been running for 3 days in another part of Rome, but concluded today here at the Colosseum with Pope Francis. It was attended by the Italian President Sergio Mattarella, the French President Emmanuel Macron. It was attended by representatives from many different religions, including Islam and Judaism. And as this is an interfaith religious event, the Pope pointed to the fact, Tracy, that at the heart of all religions and sacred writings and church teachings, peace is at the core.
And before I let you go, Colm, can you tell us a little bit more about this event and also the history of it?
Well, this wasn't a once-off, Tracy. This is an annual event which was started by Pope John Paul II in Assisi in 1986. That's 36 years ago. It was started to encourage people of all different faiths to use their collective voice to pray for peace in the world. And, of course, when we look around at what is happening, it seems that it is needed now more than ever. Tracy?
Indeed. All right. Thank you so much, Colm. Colm Flynn, EWTN Newsroom correspondent. Thank you again.